Patriots.
Tails.
Well, Siri gave me tails.
Okay, what was tails?
Tails or something?
I don't know. Let me think about that.
What?
What? I didn't choose one. I just said flip a coin.
All right, call it in. Heads. Heads it is. Yes. We have to assign heads to something.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lunch table. My name's Evan. Today I'm joined with the usual crew, Zach, Joel, and Nick. And big day in the NFL today. Got some trades to talk about. But before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and to follow us at lunchtable.takes on Instagram and TikTok. We weren't able to record last week. We were real busy with just stuff. So we're back this week, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Diving into the most breaking news of the day was Davante Adams got traded to the New York Jets for a 2025 conditional third-round pick that could improve into a second-rounder if Adams is a first- or second-team All-Pro this season or is on the Jets roster for an AFC Championship game or Super Bowl. So, what were you guys' initial thoughts on the trade, and how do you think this impacts the Jets season?
It makes sense. I mean, you and Zach alluded to it 2 weeks ago when this broke out, that this was probably the spot where he was going to end up because he's back with Rodgers. It makes sense. And then the team that I thought, which we'll get to here in a little bit, decided to go out and do the same thing. But I think it just makes sense. It's going to help them out a ton. And I think with Salah gone, even if you look at the game from last night, they looked like a different team offensively. They looked like a better team offensively.
They moved the ball for the best time all year against the best defense they've played all year. So
exactly, and I think that's just going to improve with Davante Adams in the offense. And Davante Adams is going to be unreal because you guys know how well that relationship between him and Aaron Rodgers is. And if they can get that back, it's going to be a deadly combo. And that offense is going to be even more crazy.
I wasn't on the pod where you discussed it. I had some technical difficulties. I'll put it that way. But I said, I was talking about this with you guys. I said if Davante Adams wasn't a Jet in a week and a half, I would be shocked. And a week and a half later, and he's a Jet. I think that it signifies what the Jets are trying to do. They're trying to go all in. They're trying to win a Super Bowl this year because they've got a 40-year-old former MVP at quarterback who very clearly doesn't want to build chemistry with new guys at this point in his career. He just wants to stick with the guys he knows he can trust. For better or for worse for the Jets franchise. Well, I think the Jets should. If the Jets don't make the playoffs now, they just – I don't know what you even do. Because there's no reason they shouldn't now with their receiving core and that defense. But, yeah, like we alluded to, they moved the ball very well last night. We'll get to that when we talk about the actual game. They were just – Aaron Rodgers and company did everything they could, but undone by stuff out of their control. But I'm not quite sure if this makes the Jets favorites to win the AFC East now because of what Buffalo is doing. And who knows what happens with Miami once Tua comes back, which I think he's going to. But I think the Jets should be a playoff team, and they should be sneaky contenders in the AFC again. I would be shocked if this just doesn't help them at all.
Yeah, I expected this news. This is definitely a good deal for the Jets, giving up a third-round pick that can turn into a second. They're definitely going all in. So I think that this will kind of hopefully get the train moving for them a little bit. Because, last night they had a lot of miscues. They didn't take advantage of red zone opportunities. So, I think this will definitely give them a boost and help them out here. But, there's a lot of issues in this team and with this franchise. So I don't know if this immediately makes them Super Bowl contenders or not, but they should definitely be playoff contenders.
It'll be interesting to see the dynamic between, Garrett Wilson and Davante Adams, because maybe Davante Adams, I mean, we don't know because he's been playing with the Raiders. We think he's still this elite receiver, but he might just genuinely be past his prime and not as good as he was back in 2020, 2021. And Garrett Wilson might still be that guy, but I mean, to have a second option of either Garrett Wilson or Davante Adams is pretty terrifying for the rest of the NFL, especially for a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
So,
and then they even put Mike Williams on the trade block today too. So
I wonder why.
yeah, I know. I mean, Alan Lazard basically took his job.
I know. I don't want to be like that guy, but it's Mike Williams is not. He doesn't have it anymore. He does not have it.
It makes sense for them to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
makes
mean,
sense.
I think this obviously signified from the Raiders' perspective, like they're going full rebuild. I mean, they're pretty bad, and it seemed like Davante Adams was miserable playing there. And then, yeah, like the Jets, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, it just makes a lot of sense for them. They've been kind of struggling a little bit, and so I was like, after this game, I was like, Joe Douglas needs to make the call tonight and be like, hey, we'll give you whatever you want for Davante Adams. Just get it done. And that's what they did. So now he's back with Aaron Rodgers, which is great for both of them. I think they're both going to succeed and to improve both of their plays. I think now you have, an offense of, well, like weapon-wise, of Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, and Davante Adams with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. It's a pretty deadly defense, but you still have the Bills who have been playing really well, and they just made a big move, which we'll talk about in a sec. But I think, he's going to fit right in chemistry-wise. They're already on the same page, and Rodgers likes his guys. So I think it's a good move for the Jets. It was one that I think a lot of people thought that they needed to make and expected them to make. And I'm glad they pulled the trigger and did it. And so it'll be exciting to see both of them back together because they were electric when they were together in Green Bay. But yeah, the Jets, they should be a playoff team on paper. I know they just fired Robert Saleh, so there's a little bit of coaching turnover, and it'll probably take a little bit for them to kind of get back in the groove. But like you guys said, the offense looked pretty good yesterday. So I think this will just only help them this season and hopefully get the team to where they expected to be going into the year, because I know some fans are a little disappointed with how the team's been playing recently. But big move. It's rare that you see these like caliber of moves like this early, I guess, in the season.
Yeah.
So, and for there to be two big trades
In one day.
The Bills traded for Amari Cooper. They got Cooper 2025 sixth for their 2025 third and seventh rounder in 2026. So Joel alluded to it. He thought that the Davante Adams was a good pickup, would be a good pickup for the Bills, but they went out and get Amari Cooper. How do you think that impacts their offense?
Just a veteran presence in the offense, that's going to make a big impact as is. And even like last night, like, don't get me wrong, you have certain weapons that you can rely on, like a Khalil Shakir. But after Khalil Shakir, I don't really have a lot of faith right now in a Keon Coleman, and I don't have a whole lot of faith in a Matt Collins. So getting a guy that has proven he can be the number one in Amari Cooper is going to pay dividends, and it's on the cheaper end. If we look at it comparing the two, it's on the cheaper end of things, and that's going to benefit them a lot. And I think it's just an all-around good move. Get them a one that they need and go from there. I think it's a good move on the Bills' part just to in their push for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the Bills have been one of the better run teams in the NFL over the past, 7 or 8 years after they drafted Josh Allen. But this I was shocked when I saw this, at, 2 p.m. today. I did not expect that today at all. I thought that Amari Cooper would benefit once they benched Deshaun Watson, but I did not expect Cleveland to just go full tank mode.
Really?
With the roster that they have. And I think it's really funny considering the history of Amari Cooper being traded. When he got traded to the Browns, the Cowboys traded him for a 6th-round pick.
That's
and now
true.
the Bills are getting a 3rd and a 7th for an older Wait, no, they got a 6th.
They got a 6.
Plus Amari Cooper for a 3rd and a 7th round pick in a position of need. I think this is huge. I think this makes the Bills Super Bowl contenders again. Because going into this year, I was concerned about their defense, particularly on the back end with how many pieces they lost. And then I was concerned about them not having a true wide receiver 1 with Stephon Diggs being gone. Not only does Amari Cooper become that true wide receiver 1 that Josh Allen can rely on, but he provides mentorship for like Keon Coleman and to a lesser extent Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins. Khalil Shakir's been reliable, but even for like just running routes for like a Dalton Kincaid and stuff, he has been there, he's done that. And honestly, I'm happy for Amari Cooper to be on a true team that can contend for a championship, because he's a guy that hasn't really had that opportunity for a lot of his career and deserves this shot, and he's going to get it.
Yeah. That's for sure. Zach?
Yeah, I mean, the Bills already had like a top 5 offense, like when you look at it like efficiency-wise, and that was with Khalil Shakir being their wide receiver 1. And now you add Amari Cooper, who is obviously a lot more known and has been around a while and has been a great player for a while. And you add him Josh Allen, who's been playing phenomenal this year. I think that helps them a lot. Obviously, we saw yesterday that even with James Cook out, they still ran the ball very well. And now you add another receiving threat to that offense, and I think that just propels that offense even more. Like Nick mentioned, their defense has been playing pretty well. So yeah, I think they're right in there with. Them and the Jets now are both going to be battling it out for that division, which will be fun to watch throughout the course of the season. And I think the Bills are a team that you need to take seriously. Again, we thought going into the season might be a little down year for them, just with all of the moves that they had to make with trading Stephon Diggs and cutting a lot of key players on defense. But they've been able to rally and get some good wins here early, and that's going to help Josh Allen continue to play well. And I think it's a big move for Buffalo. And on the Browns side, it kind of just shows that they're kind of just trying to do whatever they can. I mean, with Deshaun Watson, which we'll probably talk about later, I think he's having historically one of the worst seasons in NFL history from a quarterback standpoint. And he's under contract for, I think, another 2 years. And obviously everyone knows the guaranteed money and stuff. So they're kind of just grabbing for straws. And I mean, to get a 3rd round pick, like Nick mentioned, for Amari Cooper, who's in his 30s, I mean,
You'll
it's a
take
solid
it.
deal. But it's the best you were probably going to get. But their receiving room now is pretty bad.
Yeah, their wide receiver 1 is Jerry Jeudy. So the Browns are just terrible. They're definitely just tanking at this point. Good for Amari Cooper, getting out of there, playing with a just terrible quarterback, worst quarterback in the NFL, Deshaun Watson. And now you're going to a top 3 quarterback in the NFL with Josh Allen. So definitely a big upgrade for him. I think it helps the Bills out a lot. You guys pretty much hit on everything. They just adds another weapon because – their receiving room is a little weak, kind of led by their tight ends there, but yeah, so it definitely helps the Bills out. Didn't have to give up too much. The Browns are just terrible, so they need to get off this Deshaun Watson contract somehow because he is just awful.
Well, isn't it? I feel like we've talked about the contract a lot over the past. Isn't it like
you literally can't? You literally can't.
You can't get off the contract, right?
I mean, they can. They would just be in debt. They just have like over $100 million in debt cap.
They would have the worst roster in the league for the next 4 years simply because they can't pay anybody if they did that.
Yeah. So they kind of just.
I mean, that's kind of where they're at right now. Anyways, they're going to have the worst roster for a while because they got to pay him either way.
No, that's true. They're stuck right now.
I mean, would you rather have a god-awful quarterback just corrupting your entire franchise for the next couple of years? Or would you rather just cut him loose?
No, they should cut it loose, but
I mean,
we're not in the financial department of the Cleveland Browns, so
you can't do it this year.
It's a bad move.
Yeah, this year you can't.
You can't do it this year with the dead cap that you would have, potentially you could do it next year, but it's still going to be hefty.
Yeah, they screwed themselves.
But they should be starting Jameis.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not starting
It's plain
Jameis
and
Winston.
simple.
Jameis Winston gives them a better chance to win week in, week out because of his style of play than Deshaun Watson does.
His energy as well. Just let alone the energy that Jameis Winston would bring to the team is unreal.
Yeah, that entire offense is bought out, which we might transition just from this to the Browns-Eagles game, but that entire team is it's just dejected, man. Like they seem disinterested. Like they don't care. And I wouldn't care if I was in the Browns locker room, because your ownership evidently does not care about winning. They care about preserving their image because they keep Deshaun Watson in the game when he's actively worsening. He's lowering the ceiling of this offense with every snap that he takes, because defenses are getting more and more accustomed to his passiveness and him checking down balls 10 yards short of the sticks when you need a first down. I cannot possibly fathom why the Browns are not sticking Jameis Winston in there, apart from to save face and not admit their L on what is going to go down as the worst deal in sports history, considering all of the context surrounding Deshaun Watson before he even got traded, and they still didn't care.
Yep. I mean, go ahead, Evan.
The funny thing with the Browns is they just traded Amari Cooper, but the person who has the most touchdowns on the team is
it's Rodney Thomas. It's literally a defensive player.
Yeah.
Now that Amari Cooper's traded, he's the only player on the Browns to score more than one touchdown, and it's been 6 games.
That's impressive. Wow.
I couldn't possibly think the Browns franchise could hit a new low, but they have somehow found a way to.
Oh yeah. I mean, in watching, I mean, I've emphasized this past couple weeks, just by, I mean, watching them play. It is the hardest thing to do right now. I would rather watch the Panthers play. At
least the Panthers are they're entertaining at times.
Entertaining, and they can compete a little bit. They were competing with the Falcons this week. They're genuinely competing. If the defense doesn't make a play, you can just write the Browns off. It's terrible. And I think an element comes back a little bit this week with Nick Chubb, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's not going to make that big of a difference. This team is just that bad offensively.
Yeah, the Nick Chubb is really not going to make much of an impact.
No, it's not.
Terrible. The Browns are just a completely awful team from top to bottom.
I wouldn't even
say
it's not going to this game.
It's not going to get
offense. The offense is terrible from top to bottom.
Yeah, the defense is still good, but
defense is fine.
I mean, you're not going to win a lot of football games with one unit being good.
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, I know, and I'm saying that it's not going to be fixed until they get rid of Deshaun Watson, or at least bench him.
No, and you're singing to the choir here, buddy. I agree.
Yeah.
Now we get to see if Jerry Jeudy can be a wide receiver 1.
He can't.
I know.
He's already had options.
I know.
This season, as it stands right now, what are we, 6 games in?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson has the second worst QBR ever.
Who is first?
Jimmy Clausen in 2010 at a 13.8.
That was when the Panthers went 1-15, yeah?
And Deshaun Watson has a 21.5.
Wow.
And here's some more interesting stats.
Oh my god.
Let me pull it up. All right, here it is. So since 2007, out of 566 passers through 6 weeks, Watson ranks 558th in QBR, 565th in yards per dropback, and 566th in first down rates. So, when we talk about historically bad season, we're witnessing
he's having it
worst.
Yeah, we're witnessing history right now. This is borderline.
Are we seriously gonna? Is this seriously the worst quarterback season of all time, though?
I can't say it's not, considering the expectations for Cleveland going into the year.
I mean, I don't think the expectation. I mean, in my mind, I wasn't really expecting.
I had them as this. I had him at 10-7. I thought that Deshaun Watson was going to be good enough to have the run game and the defense. Like, just
nobody thought.
I thought Deshaun Watson was done. Team. I thought he was completely done. Totally.
Yeah.
Lost.
No one thought the Cleveland Browns would have one win through 6 weeks. You know.
Yeah.
Like, even if Deshaun Watson wasn't like great, like we expected them to be at least a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he played for the first like 7 games last year, and they were like 4-3 or 4-2 or something.
Yeah. Well, they had Nick Chubb last. Well, no, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
No, Nick Chubb got knocked out week 2.
I don't know. He's just terrible. And he needs to be benched.
The offense,
he's just terrible.
Yeah, the Browns defense.
I don't know what else you say. I mean,
no, Zach. There's nothing else you can say.
The Browns defense.
There's just nothing to do here. I mean, they know what has to be done, and they're not willing to do it.
Yeah, the crazy part is Kevin Stefanski continues to come out and says Deshaun gives us the best chance to win.
There's definitely ownership meddling. That's absolutely the owners telling him what to say. Kevin Stefanski is a good head coach. There's no way he fully believes that.
No, there's no way.
There's no doubt in my mind that is completely false.
The Haslams are trying to save face. That's what's happening here.
I don't know about that.
They cannot admit their L. And it is dooming Cleveland for not just this season, but for probably until about 2030.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Zach?
I mean, really about the only thing you can do here is bench him and put Jameis Winston in because, like we were just saying, they can't get out of the contract at least until next year or the year after. So, I mean, really the only thing they can do is just bench him. They can't get rid of him. Either way, they're out this money. So the rest of their team is in a putrid spot. Due to that, Jameis Winston gives them the best chance to win, but even at that point, they're not making. They're going to be a bottom feeder team even with Jameis Winston because they don't. I mean, they got a good defense, but this offense is just heinous. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it also helps. It also doesn't help when their offensive line has legitimately been the worst in the NFL this year.
Yeah,
it's been that bad. I know it hasn't been good.
It's been pretty bad.
They're 30th in run blocking, and they've allowed 31 sacks already this season.
Oh my god!
In 6 games, which is
awful.
8 more than the Patriots, which a lot of people say is like terrible offensive line.
I think this Browns offensive line might be. It's worse than the Bengals when they went to the Super Bowl. It's worse than that offensive line.
And it doesn't make any sense because the Browns' offensive line last year was like top 5 in the league.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand.
They returned like everyone. I don't understand.
Yeah, this is just not. This is a really bad team. But like I said, I think really the heart of the issue is Deshaun Watson, and I think it's just like I said, they know what they need to do, but they're not willing to do it.
Mm-mm.
So, nothing's going to change until they do what needs to be done and what everybody knows needs to be done. But they got other issues too. Like the offensive line is just absolutely horrendous, and they don't have any receivers, and it's their offense as a whole is just terrible. But really, the heart of the issue is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I agree. Should we talk about the Eagles side of things?
The offense looked better. I think their offense looked better than scoring 20 points.
Nick Sirianni yelling at his fans.
I forgot about that. Is Nick Sirianni the first head coach to be hated by all 32 NFL franchises?
Maybe.
Why are you chirping at your own fans after winning a game?
I mean, they do. I mean, Philly is.
The Philadelphia fans probably deserve it, but like.
Yeah, I was gonna say they hate him, and I don't even think he's that bad. So
Nick Sirianni,
if I was in issues, I'd probably do the same.
Nick Sirianni is a crybaby disguised as a head coach.
I don't really agree, honestly. I don't like I don't like all the Nick Sirianni hate. I think Nick Sirianni is a pretty solid head coach, at least from what he's shown so far.
But he's a man-child, and you can't have that in your locker room. Why are you yelling at everyone that criticizes you? When half of the criticism is valid.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad head coach. I really don't. And I mean, he's a competitive guy, and Philly fans are ruthless. And it's like, I mean, I'd probably do the same thing if I was him. Like, what do they got? They got a winning record right now, don't they?
No.
They are 3-2, second in the division.
Yeah, like they're sitting in a solid spot right now, especially because the Cowboys are just terrible. Like they're sitting in a solid spot right now. So I don't know why he's getting all this. Like, I don't know. I didn't hop on the Nick Sirianni hate even last year though. So I don't know. I think Nick Sirianni's fine as of right now. From what he's shown so far, I don't have a problem with him.
Outside of that, Jalen Hurts looked a lot better. It's nice to have your two best receivers back. That helps a lot. A.J. Brown looked like a all-pro wide receiver again. He had a couple monster catches in that game. And the Eagles, they won by 4, but it didn't really ever feel like it was a close game, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
I think the Eagles. I don't know if they're going to be as good as me and Evan think they can be with Nick Sirianni as their head coach, though.
Well, I don't think they will.
So, like, I don't know.
Well, did you see they play the Bengals this week, right?
No, 2 weeks.
No, next
week.
week.
Yeah, right.
No.
They play the Browns this week. Next week.
Yep.
That got moved to 1:00.
Boo! Why?
They flex that game.
That's whack. They flexed that game, but not Texans-Packers? Yeah, okay. I love the NFL, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, they don't make much sense usually.
What did they flex in? I'm going to see what they flexed in the 425 slot instead of that game.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to look it up right now.
All right, let's talk about this Thursday night game. We had an NFC West battle between their two top teams. 49ers won 36-24, now taking first place from the Seahawks. Deebo Samuel was back, which was good. And Jordan Mason got hurt, and then, what's his name? Isaac Guerendo had 10 carries for 99 yards, played really well. But this looked like the 49ers offense that we were accustomed to seeing.
It looked like the 49ers team that we expected to see at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Through
and through. Like, they were dominant from beginning to end. Like, that, like, I even texted in our group chat, Fred Warner is a stinking stud.
Fred Warner is a beast, dude.
That dude is
so good.
That dude is unreal. Like, that defense was flying around. Nick Bosa was making plays, getting pressures left and right. And then the offense, like Jordan Mason before he went down, was having a night. They were firing on all cylinders, and it showed. Being a divisional game, the importance of it, and they came out and were ready, and they took care of business. Like, that was the team I expected to see from the get-go all season, and that's the team I'm scared to see.
Yeah, because they were injured.
Yeah,
they obviously dealt with a bunch of injuries, but they're getting mostly healthy at the right time. And I'm not going to gloss over Seattle in this instance.
No.
Seattle might be frauds.
Yeah, they've lost 3 straight.
Yeah. They started playing good teams and have fallen off a cliff.
I think that's they might be a little bit closer to where we had them in the preseason. But the Niners offense looked like a machine. What's that?
Gino looked bad.
He threw 52 passes and had 2 picks.
Yeah, that's insane.
Gino looked really bad, by the way.
K9 looks pretty good, though.
Well, yeah, K9's looked fantastic this year.
Yeah, they slowed him down pretty good this game, but overall he's been looking pretty good.
Yeah. No. The 49ers looked pretty good. They're getting pretty much all their weapons back now. So I think that, they're going to be back to being a premier NFC team, but
they've got the Chiefs this week, so
yeah, it's a big test this week.
Chiefs.
Yeah,
I think as it stands right now, I think them and the Lions are probably favorites to go out of the NFC.
Yeah, I still like the Packers, but yeah, I would say those two.
Now
teams.
that Love's back and healthy.
Yeah, I still like the Packers a lot, so I'm going to put the
look-
Packers up
they
there
look
too.
Good. Yeah, they're starting to get healthy now, which is good for them. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Let's go to this London game. The Bears blew out the Jags 35-16. The Jags fall to 1-5. Caleb Williams had 226 yards, 4 touchdowns. I feel like this is the type of performances these last 2 games that we were expecting Caleb Williams to kind of put up, and he's starting to show why he was the number 1 pick.
Caleb Williams, welcome to your breakout moment in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I did not watch a single second of the first 3 quarters of this game because I knew that the Bears were just going to steamroll them. I woke up at halftime and checked the score, and it was not a game. So I just went back to sleep. And then I watched the highlights of this, and Caleb Williams was dealing all game. It was against the Jaguars, so like, how much does that really weigh? But I mean, Caleb Williams is a rookie, so I'm not going to discredit this. I mean, we talked about it when he was having a slow start. I was like, give him time; he's playing better. And now he has firmly reinserted himself into the Offensive Rookie of the Year conversation with this performance. And the Bears are 4-2. The entire NFC North has 4+ wins. I think the Bears play the Commanders in Week 8 after this bye, so that'll be a very interesting game to watch for sure. But yeah, Caleb Williams looked fantastic. He's building chemistry with Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze and whatnot. Cole Kmet had a couple touchdowns. Their running game is starting to get going. All 4 of the Bears' wins in this stretch have come against 1-win teams. So we will see if they're actually like
Legit.
a good team or not after their bye. But
everybody in that division has at least 4 wins.
Yeah.
It's competitive. It's really competitive. It's awesome to see too.
We'll see if the Bears are legit after their bye, but they're stringing together some wins and they're getting some momentum. So
there's 2 teams we have in that division. I'm still like I expect at this point the other team that was on bye this week. I think they'll make it to the playoffs, the Vikings. But I'm still like iffy. Like I'm waiting.
I'm waiting for them to come back down to earth.
Yes, like, but I like Nick alluded to, like with Caleb Williams, like he's taken those steps that we expected to see, or we were expecting early. And like you alluded to, also, I'd like to see it against a team that isn't, like the Jaguars or like
the Panthers.
Or the Panthers, exactly. Like I'm waiting for them to get to that point. Like I want to see them against a legitimate team, a legitimate defense. But 4-2, you can't discredit it.
Yeah, it's still 4-2.
You're winning the games that you're expected
supposed
to win.
Yeah. You can't control who you play at what time. So
yep, you got to win the games you're expected to win, and they've done that. So that's props to them. But Caleb Williams has looked fantastic these past couple weeks.
Yeah, 88 QBR this week, 4 touchdowns, 226 yards through the air, and he had 56 on the ground. He had a big scramble, which was good to see.
I will say he did start off slow in this game, just a little bit, but
I think like we said last time we talked about the Bears, their running game starting to click. Swift had another 91 yards and a touchdown. And yeah, the offense looked really good. I know it's just the Jags who have been horrible this year, but
not against Indianapolis because
it's true.
Of course, but
Caleb Williams had that nice corner. He threw that corner route to the back of the end zone. I think it was to Cole Kmet. That was a good throw. I feel like he's starting to kind of settle in now. I'm starting to get his feel for the game, which is good to see. And obviously Bears fans are happy about that. So, the Bears played really well. But their 4 wins are against 1-win teams. So I don't really know how good they actually are. But, you got to play the people on your schedule. So 4-2 is, pretty good. And it's impressive that all 4 of those teams in the division are 4-2. But on the Jaguars side, what happened to them?
They just fell off a cliff.
They're
Like,
terrible.
I don't get it.
Like I think Doug Peterson, if he loses to the Patriots this week, I think
He's gone, right?
I don't think he gets on the plane back to the U.S. I think they leave him in
They
London.
leave him in London.
Yeah, he's.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know what
bad.
the Jags issue is, man. They're tanking for Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Maybe the Browns are too.
No, the Browns will draft a quarterback if they get the first overall pick. But
Valid.
But yeah, I don't know what the
who
Jags
expected
issue
the
is.
Jags
I have
to be
no
1-5
clue.
and going like
yeah,
6-8.
Well, Travis Etienne is kind of not playing anymore, right?
He's on like a threat to not even be the starter.
yeah. Tank Bigsby's threatening to take his job.
Tank Bigsby's been a stud.
Yeah, he's been very
Except
good.
This game, he was trash.
Yeah,
Of
happens.
course.
I did not expect. Well, there are a couple bright sides to it. Like Brian Thomas has been a bright side.
He's been good.
Tank Bigsby obviously, but otherwise, man, oh man,
Their defense is completely just yeah. It's
I don't even know what the
they've
issue
got
is.
like Josh Hines Allen, they've got Foyce DeLucum, like they've got decent players, but they're just completely out of sorts defensively, and that's the main issue with this team. Trevor Lawrence is not a quarterback that's going to be able to score 35 points a game. So when your defense is barely an NFL caliber unit right now, it's not going to go well, and it hasn't gone well for the Jaguars this year. Doug Peterson, he should have already been fired, to be truthfully honest with you. He's not going to make it through this season.
no.
It's just kind of a lost season for Jacksonville, and I don't even know what to. Who expected this? Like I don't know.
See, but here's the thing though. Like, I mean, who are they going to hire in place of Doug Peterson here? I mean, they just hired him like what 2-3 years ago. They're going to turn around and fire
That's
him.
that. Yeah, some coaches get fired after 1 year.
Coaching carousel, baby.
It's just unreal.
If you're not the guy immediately in the NFL, you will be kicked to the curb immediately.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
it's
I think
crazy.
as like off the top of my head, I can think of about 4 or 5 teams that will probably have new head coaches going into next season. So
Yeah.
I mean, you still have like Belichick and Vrabel are out there, so there's some candidates. Since there's,
And
some
I
good
mean,
OCs.
would you throw Salah in the mix still too, or no?
Yeah.
He could get another head coaching job.
could
I
get
think he'll be a
another
defensive
chance.
coordinator somewhere.
I think the only coach that I think legitimately needs to be fired right now is Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like,
Doug
I don't-
Peterson needs to be fired.
I don't really know. I don't really know why Robert Sala got fired.
Yeah, I don't.
Because they're all bought into Aaron Rodgers, which yeah.
Doug
We
Peterson,
don't need to cross that bridge anymore.
Yeah, we're not
I don't
talking
know.
about
I mean,
the Jets
Doug-
again, but
Doug Peterson might be. He might be an issue. I don't know. I just find it odd how he just got here and in like his first full season they were really good, and then he had one average year, and now he's having one not so great year, and you're just immediately going to fire him. Like,
well, you got to remember how last year ended. They just completely collapsed. It wasn't like they were a win one, lose one, win one, lose one team the whole year. They were 8-3 in the 1 seed in November, and they completely fell apart. And they haven't even begun to pick up the pieces this year. So
Yeah.
the culture is off there, and
I
a
guess
lot
I'm
of
just
a
not
lot of the
as-
time you're going to have to get rid of the head coach in that kind of situation.
I'm just not
can't-
quite as quick to fire head coaches, I guess, as you might be.
Well, you can't
I
move
just-
on from the
I don't.
quarterback because you just paid him. So
Yeah, I don't know.
and he's not really like the problem. But.
I think that Mike McCarthy is really the main one who has like proven over and over and over again that he needs to be fired. You know,
He needs to
I'm not. I'm not like, you know, I wasn't on the Robert Sala fire train. I'm definitely not on the Nick Sirianni fire train. I'm not on the Zach Taylor fire train. I'm not on. I wasn't on the Robert Sala. I'm barely on the Doug Peterson. I don't know. I'm not quite as quick to fire coaches. But yeah, Mike McCarthy needs to go.
Well, let's talk about the Cowboys. They got blown out 47-9 at home. on
Dude.
Jerry Jones' birthday against the Lions. And yeah, like we've said, I think this game was a fireable offense for Mike McCarthy if the last 2-3 years haven't been.
Yeah.
I don't know how Jerry Jones watches this game and be like, I feel confident with the roster we have and with Mike McCarthy at the helm.
Here, before we get into the Cowboys, I want to say prayers up to Aiden Hutchinson. That was
nasty,
brutal
dude.
injury.
Oh.
That was gruesome. I
That was brutal.
listen, putting all Ohio State bias aside, as much as I hate his guts for what he did to us at Michigan, he is one of the best defensive players in the NFL. He is the heart and soul of that Lions team, and of course it had to be the Lions, because something always goes wrong with the Lions. I feel for him. I feel for Lions fans. There's probably not a more irreplaceable player on that Lions team than Aiden Hutchinson. But I will say that if there's one head coach that will use that injury to pour gasoline on an already raging fire and get that Lions team bought in more than they already have been, it's Dan Campbell. I would be very afraid to play the Lions over the next about month of the season, because they are going to be rabid dogs. I expect them to be flying all over the place for the rest of this season for Aiden Hutchinson. The Lions are one of the elite teams in the league. I expected them to win this game. I did not expect belt to A-word that they put on Dallas. That was embarrassing, dude. That was embarrassing.
It was.
Like, there's no other way to put it. That was embarrassing.
That genuinely, like, I agree, Nick. Like, that injury was gruesome. I saw him down, and I'm like, wait, what happened? And then they did the replay. I'm like,
oh, you were like, legs are not supposed to go that way.
Exactly. It
was like MMA-esque, dude. It was nasty.
It made me cringe. I was sitting on the couch, and it made me cringe. It was, but that's besides the point. The Lions, I'm going to take the Lions stance. They looked amazing through and through. Like, that team looked.
Dan Campbell hates the Cowboys' guts, man. He cannot stand them.
The amount of touchdown or throws that he threw to offensive tackles in this game
was unbelievable.
Yeah, he did. So he tried throwing a touchdown pass to Taylor Decker. He ran a hook and ladder to Penei Sewell.
Yep.
Dan Skipper was out there running routes as wide receiver, and then he did a double, triple flea flicker to Sam Laporta for a touchdown.
He really
he
does not
pulling
care.
Stuff out of the hat and seeing what was going to work.
Well, the writing on the wall for me was they got an interception by Brian Branch, which Brian Branch had a day.
Brian Branch was phenomenal.
But it's like 40-7.
He doesn't care. He really just did not care.
He's like, okay, Amon-Ra, do a quick little 5-yard out route for a touchdown here. Like, corner pylon, go for it, bam. I was like, okay. He's like stomping on their graves, dude. Like, that was.
He's dancing in their loot room, dude.
Dude, he like that line. Like, when we talk about what I talked about how the 49ers looked good this week and the team that I expected to play them to see, this is the best version of the Lions
I think we've ever seen. This might be the best Lions game in our lifetime. I don't think that's an exaggeration.
I would agree.
At all. I don't think that's an exaggeration at all.
I would agree. Like, they looked fantastic. They took care of guys like CeeDee Lamb. They took care of the run game. Like, the Dallas could not do a thing.
No, and we're gonna, Evan. I think you put it best. I don't know how this isn't a fireable offense for Mike McCarthy. This is like Red Wedding levels of just bad. I don't even to Detroit. Not even like a proud franchise to the Lions on Jerry Jones' birthday. It was borderline criminal. I think that he should be arrested. To be full on honest with you.
The Lions are insane, though, so I'm not really sure.
47-9.
Oh, I understand. It was really bad. I'm just saying, I don't think you should emphasize,
this isn't Ohio State versus Western Michigan, man. This is the NFL.
Yes.
Like,
but
it's supposed to be an equal talent thing.
I understand, but I'm just saying that, like you said, this is not a proud franchise. The Lions are a really good team.
No,
I
they're a
think the
really
Lions are
good
the best
team,
in
but,
the
like,
NFC.
you know how
I mean,
egotistical
5
Jerry
years
Jones
ago,
is.
if you were like the Cowboys are going to lose 47-9 to the Lions, he would be like, they are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really bad game for sure. The Cowboys are terrible. They are really,
No,
really bad.
the Cowboys are they
It's
might make the playoffs, maybe.
It's
but
because Jerry Jones and them sat on their butts during the offseason, did nothing.
Yeah, they didn't do a
They
thing.
did
in the
nothing.
offseason.
They got worse.
And then Jerry Jones came out today and said, "We're not going to do anything."
He's so. Jerry
like,
Jones needs to sell the franchise.
I don't know.
or just step down as like leader of football operations, man. Like,
Yeah.
here's the Cowboys are still like. I think the Cowboys are still going to be one of the teams that are going to be contending year in, year out. Because, I mean, they've got an elite wide receiver. They've got an elite pass rusher. They've got a good enough quarterback with the right pieces around him. But it's not going to happen this year. There are way too many holes, way too much.
Well, and it shows even more when Micah Parsons isn't on the field.
Yeah.
And they really the main issue here is Mike McCarthy needs to go.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy needs to be fired.
I think that's really the main issue here. They didn't do anything in the offseason, so like that hurts as well. But really, Mike McCarthy needs to go. He's not. I mean, he ain't getting it done.
Yeah, I think a couple things from my end on this game. I think this game showed that the Lions are the best team in the NFC at this point. I think they're the favorites to come out of that. I mean, 4-1 right now, and they've been just ripping through teams. I mean, they've scored 40 plus points back-to-back weeks, and their only losses to the Bucs week 2. Against the Seahawks, they put up 42. Then they put 47 against the Cowboys. And they got a good game in Minnesota, which will be a division game, so that game will be good. But the Lions are legit Super Bowl contenders, and they look very, very good. And then on
they
the
need
Cowboys
to trade
side
for a
of
pass
things,
rusher, though.
Yeah, they do.
With the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, like Hassan Reddick or Jadeveon Clowney should be a Lion within the week.
Yeah,
but
they're usually fairly aggressive. So
yeah.
And then on the Cowboys side of things, you guys touched on a lot of it, but Dak was horrible. They didn't score a touchdown. One thing that I saw while watching the game is Dallas has the third worst red zone offense,
which is crazy.
They cannot score in the red zone. They can't do it. They literally can't do it.
Which is nuts because last year, it was a different story.
You also have
they were
to
one of the most
wonder,
efficient teams in the red zone last year.
You also have to wonder the lack of involvement from CeeDee Lamb too. Outside of the first drive, he did pretty much nothing the rest of the game.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
They're only scoring in the red zone 37% of the time.
That's not.
Is that touchdown percentage?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Still,
I was points is absurd.
In the red zone, you want touchdowns. Well, and Dak had that really bad interception to Brian Branch in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
Which Brian Branch played phenomenal. He's been really good. But yeah, the Cowboys. They're just bad right now. I don't know what.
They're just not a good football team. There's no other way to put it.
I mean, if you look at their wins, they've won against the Giants, who's they've been okay this year. They beat the Steelers, who has been shown to be a little overrated.
They're a hit or miss team.
Yeah, and then they beat the Browns. So they haven't beat any good teams. They lost to the Ravens. They got smoked by the Saints. Then they got smoked by the Lions. They played the 49ers this week.
So back to what we were saying about the Bears, they win the games that they're supposed to.
Yeah. The problem is we expected the Cowboys to be more. This year.
I know. I agree.
Relative to expectations, it's just not good enough.
Yeah. They get the bye this week, so we'll see what happens coming off the bye.
Yeah.
But
isn't Dallas's schedule brutal?
Yes.
After the bye, though, I haven't seen it. I know they play San Francisco after the bye.
Let me double check.
Niners, Falcons, Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders. Yeah, have fun. Yeah. Have fun with that.
Yeah, this is a bad football team right here, man.
If their defense doesn't get it figured out, they might genuinely lose all 5 of those games.
Yeah, it was bad. All right, let's talk about this Patriots game. Usually we wouldn't really talk about the Patriots, but Drake May had his season debut and he played really well.
He played a lot better than I thought he was going to.
I agree.
I mean, 3 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, but
it was early too.
He was putting balls in spots that obviously Jacoby Brissett wasn't doing. And I mean, their offense looked like an actual offense, which was good. But they did succeed 41 points to the Texans. But I feel like as a Patriots fan, you got to be happy with what you saw from Drake.
It took Drake May a little bit to get settled, but once he did, he was making some big boy throws down the field. I was very impressed with him, especially because Houston's not a bad defense at all.
No.
Both of the interceptions were pretty terrible. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Both of them were pretty bad, but I mean, it's your first NFL start. I'm not going to sound the alarm bells immediately.
Yeah.
He just provides a ceiling for this offense that Jacoby Brissett doesn't.
Couldn't do.
Yeah. And the Patriots are still not going to be a good team this year. They're still probably going to lose the rest of their games, but at least they'll be a frisky bad team now instead of just unwatchably bad. So, I can't believe I'm saying that about the Patriots, but here we are.
Maybe they'll get
I would help out tremendously for them.
They need offensive line.
Yeah, offensive line's probably their biggest need, but I mean they need receiver and probably another corner too. So
and there's going to be some decent wide receivers out there.
Yeah,
come off season. So
Drake May played a lot better than I thought he was going to. And we'll see if that continues, but I was impressed with him for sure.
Demario Douglas actually had a really good game with him too.
He did, yeah.
So that
Liberty legend.
Liberty legend Demario. That could be a piece going forward that helps out. They could not get the run game going whatsoever. The run game was non-existent. And on the flip side, Texans, it's what you expected.
Yeah, the Texans are a wagon, dude. It is what it is.
Yeah, the Texans. There was like a 0% chance the Patriots were going to win this game.
Yeah.
But I feel like as a Patriots fan, you're encouraged by what you saw from Drake May.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You feel good about that.
The one thing I'll say about the Texans is Joe Mixon came back and he looked good. He looked good.
But then again, the entire run game for Houston looked fantastic because even Dameon Pierce had averaged 9 yards a carry.
I mean, he had that one big run that inflated his stats, but he still didn't do nothing.
Still, even their third string was averaging 4. Not bad. Mixon looks fantastic.
You'll take it. Yeah, you'll take it.
Mixon looks fantastic. I will agree.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what Drake May does.
Yeah, he's
not gonna lie.
He looked a lot better than I thought he was going to. Because a lot of people said he was more of a developmental guy, but I mean, he came right in and played really well.
He said development this.
And someone dropped him in our Dynasty League. Guess who picked him up?
Nice. All right, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels faced off against Lamar Jackson, and they unfortunately lost 30-23 in a really good back and forth game. And if we didn't know before, we know now. The Ravens' offense is a juggernaut. We were talking about, Derrick Henry might slow down a little bit. Now
dude, no way.
No.
He's first in carries, first in yards, and first in touchdowns.
I was there's a reason why they're going to bring him in. They're not going to just
not give him the ball.
Not give him the ball. This dude is legit. He doesn't age.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's going to make the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Derrick Henry is going to be a Hall of Famer.
It was
just
kind
got,
of
10,000 rushing yards and 100 career touchdowns.
Yeah, it was kind of debatable going into this year because his numbers were still kind of on the low end, and if he did fall off, it'd be borderline situation. No, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a Hall of Fame running back. I think this game says more about Baltimore than it does about Washington. I actually think Washington should feel all right after this game, considering that they can hang with one of the elite teams in the league with a rookie quarterback. It always felt like Baltimore was just one step ahead, in this game. Like, Baltimore's clearly on a different level of Washington. But, I mean, Lamar Jackson, he had 323, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. I think he played better than his stat line. Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry, 24 for 132 and 2 touchdowns.
Even Zay Flowers got in.
Zay Flowers had 132 yards.
And guess who got in the end zone?
Yeah, Mark Andrews scored.
Mark Andrews is alive.
Yeah, he's
he's not an official left tackle.
Yeah, the Ravens are a juggernaut, dude. I think they're better than last year, especially on offense.
I agree.
They've gotten everything clicking now ever since that loss to the Raiders. They've got Tampa Bay this week, but I mean,
I think they still win that game.
Yeah, like they're one of the elite teams in the NFL, and they're on a mission to avenge last season.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Unfortunately, they're rolling.
Rashad Bateman, who I pegged as just an absolute bust. Like
he's been better
games
this year.
Playing, not bad.
He's definitely not a 1 by any means, but he can be a solid 2.
Yeah,
as long as he can stay healthy and on the field.
We're just thanking the Lord that Davante Adams didn't get traded there.
Yeah.
Oh my! It would be raps for the rest of the league.
We'll see if they can get through Mahomes and the Chiefs still, though.
I think
that'll be a great match.
They can, but will they? The Bills can too. The Texans can. The Bengals probably can, but it's like
Bengals definitely can.
Yeah. Well, it's like we'll see if anyone actually does.
Yeah,
well, even
that's the point.
I'm gonna address on the flip side, Jaden Daniels looked good.
He looked solid. He looked good against one of the better defenses in the league.
And just I'm excited to see this. Terry McLaurin is finally getting a quarterback, and he's
making the most of it.
He has looked good.
Yeah, he got a slow start, but man, he's been turning it around. So that's nice to see that.
I'm very excited to see the direction Washington goes for the rest of this year and beyond.
They're set up for a while.
I mean,
they just need to address some holes on defense.
Jonathan Allen's now out for the year, though, which is
that one hurts.
That hurts. This Commanders team is just absolutely miles better than even where I thought they were going to be. I think I was the highest.
We all thought they were going to be like a 6.
I had them at 3 wins, so
I had them at 6 or 7 wins, I think, and they're beating that.
I have them at 4 wins, and they've already matched my preseason prediction. They're not winning a game the rest of the year, guys. They're losing their last 11.
I think
I was going to say. I had them at 4 or 5.
One of our predictions says things a couple weeks ago about the Commanders, and they're like, "You guys have no idea what you're talking about."
Well, that's I can't hate on that.
What happened? I didn't hear what you said, Evan.
I don't think we do have any clue.
Somebody commented on our Commanders prediction a couple of days ago, and they're like, "They're already going to be you guys' prediction. You don't know what we're talking about." And I was like, well,
"Okay, heading into the season, what do you expect?"
That's why they're predictions.
Oh boy, I am at 12.
I hope we might be doing better than last year. I don't know.
We don't really know yet.
I don't know if we are or not. Yeah.
I think we're doing all right.
I mean, we're probably better than we were last year, just solely for the fact that we have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I did.
I have them in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, we all have them in the AFC title game.
Who'd you have them losing to?
The Ravens.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I have Ravens-Lions.
Well, sticking in the AFC North, I'm not going to talk about the game, but the Steelers are now 4-2, and they're Mike Tomlin is highly considering benching Justin Fields for Russell Wilson. I know you guys have some opinions.
There's no way they're actually doing that.
Go for it.
There's absolutely zero way that they're actually considering doing that. I refuse to believe that.
Be my guest.
Justin Fields is he playing great passing?
No,
but he's playing a lot better than he was in Chicago, and you're 4-2. You have absolutely zero reason to bench him, and you're just deciding to change things for the sake of changing things. It doesn't make any sense.
I wouldn't hate it as a fan of a different AFC North team.
Yeah, you guys are probably rooting for it, but it makes no sense to me. It makes zero sense.
It makes 0 sense to me. Why?
Hey, here's the thing though. No matter what they do, they could cut every one of their starters and they will still finish with a winning record. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it
valid.
doesn't really matter. They're still going to have a winning
valid,
record.
but still, it doesn't make any sense. Like,
I don't think there's much to even talk about. It just makes zero sense to me.
yeah. No, I agree with that.
I mean, I know Fields hasn't been like great.
He hasn't been nice.
but
He's been better than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Kenny
I mean,
Pickett
there's
was
still-
That's not a
horrible.
high bar to clear, but like,
And the Steelers are 4-2. Like you don't want to really, if I'm the Steelers, I wouldn't really want to mess with that. Like now, if they start losing some games here, then you can talk about.
but their 2 losses have been by 3 points each. It's not like they're getting blown out.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're messing with things.
And
But,
this isn't
as
even
a Bengals fan.
this isn't even a Joe
That's-
Flacco, Anthony Richardson situation. It just makes no sense.
All right. Last game that we're going to talk about, which we kind of briefly touched on. I don't know if you guys want to add any more things, but last night, Monday night, Jets, Bills. We kind of briefly talked about it, but if you guys want to add any more things to it.
This Jets team on paper should be one of the best teams in the AFC, and they're very, very mid. Getting Davante Adams, that should really help them a lot. But I don't know. I mean, the Jets just seem to have a lot of problems. And I don't know. The Jets are quite an enigma to me, I think is the word that I said after the game last night. They are an enigma to me. But the Bills are really good.
Yeah,
Josh
they're good
Allen
again.
Josh Allen's definitely that guy. He's single-handedly willing them to wins. The Bills are a really, really good team.
Josh Allen had a bounce back performance last night, for sure.
Yep.
Greg Zuerlein should be cut. I get it was windy, but come on, dude.
The Bills kicker didn't play well either.
No, but I mean, Tyler Bass at least has a history of being a decent kicker for the Bills until it comes to playing Kansas City. But we don't have to talk about that.
Honestly,
throw
my
shots,
other
Nick.
observation of this game, it was an ugly game. I mean, there was
Also,
an
the amount of
just an
penalties.
unreal amount of penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an ugly game. But
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Josh Allen made some plays that were just really great plays. But overall, ugly game, good win for the Bills to gut it out. But the Jets are kind of in that situation where it's like, okay, what do we do? But we'll see how Davante Adams fixes that, I guess.
Yeah, this was a Josh Allen diff. There was a Josh Allen diff, and Greg Zuerlein sucks. That's all I really have to say. And there was an absurd amount of penalties. There should never be that many penalties in an NFL game because most of them were very ticky-tack.
Well, even Aaron Rodgers said that.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers even came out with like half of these penalties just weren't penalties, including the roughing the passer on myself. That's not roughing the passer.
Yeah, there was a ridiculous amount of penalties in this game. It was pretty absurd.
It was borderline unwatchable. It was bad. But hey, the Bills won. They're 4-2. That's all that really matters.
Yep.
All right, let's get into some predictions.
Sweet.
So obviously, last week we didn't record, but Joel and Nick both had predictions, and they both went 10-4. And me and we just forgot. So we kind of figured out a system. But as the records stand currently, Zach is first with a 56-36 record. I am second with a 55-37 record. Joel is third with a 53-39 record, and Nick's last with a 52-40 record.
Dude, their week 4 and week 5
You fell off
were
a cliff
awful,
there, bro.
Dude, week 4, I genuinely went 6-10 one week. Like I'm not joking at all. I went 6-10 one week. That is what did it, dude. It's not great, but we're gonna bounce back. There's a lot of season
And
left.
you think you know ball.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
we're
of
only on
season
week
left.
7. There's a lot of season left.
There is plenty of time.
All right, Thursday night we have Broncos at Saints.
Ew.
New Orleans.
Back to the classic Thursday night games.
This was a really hard one to pick.
And Derek Carr
Give me the Broncos.
is not playing again.
Yeah, I took the Broncos here because Chris Olave and Derek Carr aren't playing, I don't think.
Oh yeah, Chris Olave.
Yeah, I think the Broncos defense will cause problems for Spencer Rattler and company. So I'm going to take Denver in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Denver as well. Without Carr, without Olave. Probably going to struggle. But it doesn't get much better because Sunday morning in London we have Patriots at Jags.
If you wake up to watch this game, you are a actual sicko.
Somebody tweeted this is the
This
worst
one was
thing
also
they've done
hard
to
to pick.
England since the American Revolution.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this one was pretty bad to pick too, man.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville in this game. I think. I don't trust Drake May having 2 good performances in a row. With as raw as he is as an NFL prospect, and I know Trevor Lawrence hasn't been playing well, but when he plays bad defenses, he usually plays good enough to win. So I'll take Jacksonville in this game to win like the worst 23-20 game you've ever seen in your life.
I'm leaning the Jags.
Why are the terrible games harder to pick than the good ones?
Because you don't know what you're going to expect from the terrible teams.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know what? Give me the Patriots. Why not?
I don't know who to pick. Dude, I'm leaning the Jags, but I mean they
Flip a coin,
suck.
Weaver.
Flip a coin.
Evan, you go first.
I'm in the same boat you are.
Hey, Siri.
I kind of want to
Hey.
Patriots.
Tails.
Well, Siri gave me tails.
Okay, what was
Sign
tails?
Tails or something.
I don't know. Let me think about that.
What?
What? I didn't choose one. I just said flip a coin.
Zach, heads is Jaguars, tails is Patriots.
Yeah,
Go.
flip it
Hey,
again.
Siri, flip a coin. Flip a coin.
This is why people say we don't know
It's
anything.
heads this time.
I got heads.
So it's the Jaguars.
Oh. The last time that I flipped a coin and I went against the coin,
You
was in the
picked CeeDee
fantasy
Lamb
draft.
over Jamar Chase, so
and I
stick with the
highly
coin.
regret that. So I'll go with the coin and take the Jags. Even though, Evan, when I send my predictions in, the mark is going to be by the Patriots because that was where I was first leaning.
Okay.
We'll go.
I just crossed mine off if I'm like iffy on it,
Yeah.
and then I write it
go
up to the side.
Patriots. I'll go with.
I don't like.
I think
You know what?
Drake May
No,
played well.
I'm going to go against the coin here because my
No!
gut said Patriots. I picked the Patriots and I'm going to go against the coin, so I'm going to take the
All right.
Patriots here.
Fair enough.
Well,
Oh my lord.
the Jags are gonna kill him now.
Yeah, I can't do anything right this year,
all right,
so
we're getting into a little bit better.
Jags are going to win.
Seahawks at Falcons. This should be a good one. Battle of the
No,
Birds.
Falcons.
I'm going Falcons. I think Falcons offense has been playing a lot better. Defense has picked up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta at home.
I'm gonna go,
The
especially at
Seahawks are
home.
on a downward spiral. Not a downward spiral, but they've lost 3 straight.
I'm also gonna go with the Falcons. They've looked very good these last couple weeks. This is an easy one. Titans at Bills.
Bills.
We didn't talk about it, but Will Levis is probably on par with Deshaun Watson.
Will Levis is so terrible. You play that Colts defense and you throw for 93 passing yards. Get off
There
the
was a
field.
1
I
minute
love-
video
I love
on
how the-
Twitter
What?
of his like horrendous passes. It was
He
a
also
1
took
minute
out the ball
compilation.
boy. He like destroyed his knee in this game too.
Poor ball boy.
Just the Will Levis compilation of horrendous plays and memorable moments.
Yeah, the
Um,
Titans will be drafting a new quarterback in 2025.
It should.
Who are we picking here?
Forward.
We all picked the Bills.
We all picked the Bills.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right, we got Bengals at Browns. Battle of Ohio.
If the Browns did not trade Amari Cooper, I would probably pick Cleveland in this game just to be funny. But they did, and they have no one
Bengals.
on offense. So
Bengals.
Who dey?
I hope the Bengals win this game, but you never know.
They're going to keep it rolling here.
I wouldn't
Bengals,
necessarily
I
say they
hope-
started rolling, but okay.
Bengals,
Gotta
I
win.
hope and pray that Nick Chubb doesn't tear us up.
I'm going to go
Bengals
Bengals
got
as well.
this.
They looked better, but it was also a really ugly game against the Giants.
Their defense looked better.
Yeah, defense looked better, but the offense sputtered. But
Then
the
again, it is
Browns
Daniel
are just
Jones without
horrible. But we
Wan'Dale
do always
Robinson.
play horrible against the Browns, so I think it'll be a closer game than we would like. But
Yep.
I'm going to give the edge to the Bengals just because we talked about the Browns at length and how horrible their offense is. So if our defense can play remotely close to how they did against the Giants, we should be okay.
Watch, Deshaun Watson's going to go out and throw for 350 this week.
Deshaun Watson, 250 and 3 touchdowns incoming.
Yeah, probably. This is
Normally-
going to be a good one. Texans at Packers.
Why is this game not on Sunday night? Why is this not the Sunday night game for this week?
Is a
Why do we have to
brutal one
watch
pick.
Jets Steelers instead of this game on Sunday night?
There's
Whiteout
three
in
games.
Lambeau.
Yeah,
I hate the NFL. I listen. This is actually difficult. If it was in Houston, it'd be easier. But I think I picked the Texans to lose this game in the preseason, so I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to take Green Bay.
I'm going Green Bay also.
Zach.
This is another one that I'm debating on here.
I love
different.
how we
It could
Nick,
go
I love
either
how
way.
we decide right away, and they're like,
It could go either way here, man.
Hey, it's evident based off of who turned in their predictions last week.
Real.
Do you want me to go with?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to go with the Texans. They're just a juggernaut on offense, and they've been looking really good. I know it's in Lambeau, which is always tough to play, but I trust the C.J. Stroud more than I trust Bryce Young. Or, sorry, Jordan Love. I always
hope
do
the
that.
Packers don't have Bryce Young.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. Both really good teams, both good defenses, both good young quarterbacks. But I'm going to give the edge to Houston.
I think if the Texans had Nico Collins, this would be a very easy pick for me. But either way, I'll take the Texans here.
Even split. That's what we like to see.
Yes, it is.
All right, now we dip in production to Dolphins at
Now we
Colts.
dip in production.
Dolphins, Colts. Yeah, this
And
game.
Anthony Richardson is back, right?
Barring a setback
So-
this week, he will be playing.
I think
Against
that's
Miami.
worse.
No, we're not getting into this. I'm not getting into this with you right now.
Worse off.
I'm going to take the Colts in this game, even if Anthony Richardson does not complete a single pass. Miami's run defense has been bad, and they should have Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor back this week. So,
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts this week as well. Just because the Dolphins, mainly because the Dolphins' offense is totally inept without Tua.
Yeah.
yeah, even with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Davantae, they've got either Tyler Huntley or Skylar Thompson throwing them the ball. So I hope the Colts come out with the win, but I really don't know with this defense.
I'm going Colts also.
I'm also going Colts. All right, this is a great game. Division game between the Lions and the Vikings. It's in Minnesota.
I don't care. I think this is where the Vikings take their first loss. I
Yep.
think the Lions are going to rally around Hutch for this week, and they're going to make a statement in Minnesota. I'm going to take Detroit in this game.
I'm
Yeah,
going
taking the
Detroit
Lions
also.
here. The Lions are rolling right now. They're the best team in the NFC.
I am also going to go with Detroit. It's going to be a great game. I'm very excited to watch it.
If Minnesota wins this game, though, I might have to
They're legit. They
are legit
seriously
if they win this game.
Yeah. Now we got Eagles at the New York Football Giants.
Eagles.
I don't think it's as clear cut as Weaver makes it seem, because division games are always weird. But
Hey, you complain about me taking a while, so I'm just shooting it straight right
fair
now.
enough.
I'm going Giants.
I think
I'm
I'm
going
going
with
to
the
side with.
Giants.
I think I'm going to side with the Eagles in this game. If the Eagles had a worse offensive line, I'd be more concerned. But Daniel Jones still sucks.
The
So
Giants are expecting Malik Neighbors to be back.
And that's why I'm taking the Giants.
I'm going to go with the Giants too.
I still don't think they have it. I still don't believe that the Eagles have a guy that can cover Neighbors.
Do the Giants have people that can cover A.J. Brown or Davante Smith? Do they have the
No.
run defense to stop Saquon Barkley?
Well,
Run defense, I would say yes.
All right.
Run defense, I can
I'm
get
still
behind with
taking- I'm still
Kayvon
taking the
Thibodeau,
Eagles.
Brian Burns. Oh, Thibodeau's out. Never mind. But Brian Burns up the middle. You got, isn't it Dexter Lawrence? Yeah, I'm going Giants.
sexy. Yeah, I'll go Giants too.
Let's
All right,
go.
Raiders at Rams. This is an awful.
Rams. Cooper Cup's playing. Probably
Rams.
Take the Rams too.
Yeah, I'm going
Rams.
The Raiders are gonna be even more terrible now. Panthers at Commanders.
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 Commanders, pretty easy. I don't know how this isn't a primetime game, but Chiefs at Niners.
It's the
This
game
isn't
of the
a
week,
prime.
isn't it?
This is a 4:25
I thought this.
game.
I'm an idiot because I said earlier that Jets Steelers was Sunday night, but I thought this was Sunday night until you just said it wasn't a primetime game.
Super Bowl rematch.
How-
Aren't they they're America's game of the week, aren't they?
Probably.
That's the bare minimum
I
they
would
should
hope
be.
so.
Yeah, this is America's game of the week on Fox. I know that one.
I will be taking the 49ers in this game. I think this is one of the few L's I predicted the Chiefs to take in the regular season. And the 49ers are rolling. And the Chiefs have been obviously they haven't been bad. They're 5-0, but they're not. They look mortal. But we said this last year and they won the Super Bowl, so we'll see. But I am going to take the 49ers in this game.
I'll go 49ers as well with you, Nick. I think I liked what I saw from them last week. I think their offense is starting to click. And that defense has been really good with, obviously, led by Fred Warner. And without Rashid Rice and Hollywood Brown and Isaiah Pacheco, that offense is limited. And I think the 49ers are going to do enough at home to take down Kansas City.
Is it?
Yeah, I feel like
It's in
I
San
feel like
Francisco.
It's what?
I feel like the
It's in
Niners
San
got this one here.
Francisco.
Okay.
I like the Niners here.
My decision changed just based off of I thought it was in Lambeau. I'm going 49ers.
It was not going to be in Lambeau either way.
Clean sweep for the Niners. All right, Sunday night, Jets at Steelers. I'm assuming.
Okay.
Nate, did you
Davante
hear that?
Adams will
Yeah,
play.
I heard.
Okay.
I heard him say Lambeau. Jets Steelers.
Oh
it's
God
in Pittsburgh.
darn it! I meant Arrowhead.
Yeah, so I actually just got a notification.
No one said anything at all when I said that. I was like,
Davante
okay.
Adams plans to play Week 7.
For that reason, I will be taking the Jets. in
Give me
this
the
game.
Jets in this one.
Jets.
I will also go Jets.
Can I
All right,
change
then we
my
got
pick to
two-
Pittsburgh?
No.
No.
All right, fair enough.
All right, we got two Monday night games. First one is the more exciting one. Ravens at Bucks.
Ooh.
This is going to be a really
This
good
It's going
game.
to be a
but I-
good
good
game.
offense.
Those teams are good.
Yeah.
I'm going
Um,
Ravens.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Ravens with this one here, but I think it's going to be a good game, though.
Yeah, I think Baltimore is a more balanced team than Tampa Bay is. They've got an elite run game, obviously. Their passing game is competent enough. And their defense is elite, and they've got an elite head coach. So that's all you need in the NFL to win games like this. I'm going to take Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm going to go Baltimore as well. I think it's going to be a really good game. The Bucks should be able to slow down Derrick Henry as much as one can because they have Vita Vea and a couple other guys who are really good. Yeah, the Ravens are just a juggernaut right now. They're really good. And then final game of the week, we have Chargers at Cardinals.
Before we make a pick, I think it's really stupid that this game is exclusively on ESPN Plus, but we don't have to get into that.
It's exclusively on ESPN.
Yeah, it's
Plus.
exclusively on ESPN Plus. That's really stupid.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's not like it's an awesome game. Like,
I'm
It's just like they do on
going-
Peacock.
I'm going to take the Chargers in this game. I don't know if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play.
Exactly.
The Chargers, they
the Chargers
played
are
well
looking like
against
a
Denver.
decent team.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that game. They beat the Broncos by 7, but it was like 23-0 at one point. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
gonna
going
roll with the
Chargers as
on this
well.
one as well.
It just says that that Marv is in concussion protocol. So if I were,
I'm going
I
Chargers.
think I'm still gonna roll with the Chargers even if
Me too.
Marv plays.
Yeah,
I think their
Chargers.
defense is not given enough credit.
yep, I'm gonna go Chargers as well. They've been playing pretty well, and
I would not be surprised if the Cardinals won this game though.
I wouldn't be either, but
No, I wouldn't. But they've had some.
There's definitely a couple of games this week that could very well go either way. So it'll be interesting to see how
it's
this
not as
turns
easy
out
to
for
pick
us.
this week, is it, Zach?
Yeah,
No, it's not.
Last week was a little bit more cookie cutter, but this week should be a good one.
It's too bad we missed last week because last week was pretty easy.
I know. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.